Frostybros here. This is Gaming Memories number 3. I'm going to do the top 6 Super Nintendo games you all should own. You might not have heard of some of these. Some of them you have heard of, especially number 1. But I'm leaving out Zelda because I don't own it, even though that would be my number 1. Like Dynasty Warrior 6, shout out. Put a link to his top 10 NES games down below. I'm leaving out the Mario games because everybody knows about those and everybody pretty much owns those. Mario All-Stars, Mario World, Mario Kart, Mario RPG I've never actually played, so I can't say that. But these are going to be the top 6 games that I loved when I was younger. Still love to this day. Some of them, 2 of them, I don't know. But it's going to be that. While I talk about the games, I'm going to have a couple screenshots to put up. So let's start it off with number 6, which is Super Star Wars. One of my all-time favorite movie adaptation games. If you haven't played it yet, it's pretty challenging though. So let's see what this game looks like as I talk about it. Alright, this game is great. Challenging, fun for any Star Wars fan, which I was when I was younger. Was never able to beat this game when I was younger, but I always had a lot of fun trying to. I did beat it with a cheat code that gave me invincibility. The music is great in this game. The graphics are mode 7, so they're very good. Uses the Super Nintendo to all its potential. You got side-scrolling action. You get third-person flying stages, including the trench battle, and it follows the storyline pretty darn well. Great game, great all-around movie adaptation, and worth checking out and adding into your collection. Alright, number 5 is Vegas Stakes, probably the best casino game I've ever played. I don't know, it's also compatible with the Super NES mouse if you have the mouse for the Mario Paint. And I don't know what it plays like with a mouse because I don't think I ever did, but it's actually a very, very fun Vegas-style gambling game, casino game. There's a bunch of different casinos. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's unique about this, I think. And let's take a look. A casino game that's very fun indeed. Great graphics, great music actually. Vegas Stakes does have a battery backup so you can save your progress. To beat the game you got to reach $1 million. And if you don't, well, you'll see the end screen soon where you have no money in your pockets. Very fun game, unique in the fact that while you're playing a table or a slot machine, people will randomly pop up and talk to you, and you have the choice of saying yes or no to their questions. And sometimes it works out to your benefit, and sometimes it's a scam and you lose money. Great all-around game. I've had a lot of fun with this game in the past and still do. Have beaten it normally without cheating, and it's a great game. If you're a casino fan, take a look-see. Number 4. Final Fantasy Mystic Quest by Squaresoft. You know what, I should have said the year these games were released, but I'm not gonna really care. I guess it doesn't really matter. You guys can do more research if you want. But alright, this is a beginner's role-playing game. Entry-level role-playing adventure, it says right there. So let's take a look at some screenshots and let's talk about Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. Mystic Quest is an entry-level RPG. It's a beginner's RPG is what it is, and it's very easy, very linear, no overworld battling or anything like that. You can see your enemies in the dungeons, so you have a chance to avoid them. This game got me into role-playing games, actually. I wasn't really big into them until I bought this game. It basically teaches you the fundamentals of a role-playing game, but makes it easier so you don't have to immerse yourself into an intense storyline. The storyline is still pretty good in my opinion, and so is the music. Very fun game. I think is a staple in any role-playing game collection, and collection for Super Nintendo. Gotta have it. Alright, number 3 is Gradius 3 by Konami. This game is a great shoot 'em up and very fun, fast-paced, and challenging. Let's take a look. This one is a great shoot 'em up for the Super Nintendo and worth a place in anybody's collection. Gradius 3 is got great graphics, great music, challenging gameplay. As you can see, you can also choose your weapons. I always took the second option there with the missiles and the ripple, and with the backward shooting, because sometimes you need that. I always had so much fun with this game when I was a kid. I could never beat it though, and then I found out if you try using the Konami code, it self-destructs your ship instead of giving you all weapons like in the original Gradius. Instead, they changed up the code a bit for the Super Nintendo, so it's a little joke on Konami's part, which I thought was pretty darn funny. Great game. Add it to your collection if you can. Alright, number 2. Game that I used to love as a kid, and I'm happy I found complete in a box, is ActRaiser by Enix. This game is unique, and I've never seen another game that does what this game does. So join me in looking at the screenshots and talking about ActRaiser. Wow, what can be said about ActRaiser? Such an all-around, just great game. Side-scrolling action, big sprites, awesome music, and then you have to build towns and save them with a little naked angel thingy. Little naked angel guy. You are basically a god in this game, and you take over the thing in the side, or the guy inside the side-scrolling action parts. But I've never seen another game ever made like this, and I fell in love with this game the first day I rented this game when I was a kid. No other game has ever done what this game does, and I wish they would reinvent this game for the new consoles. And wow, just add it to your collection, play it, enjoy, some challenge, but it's very well worth it. I can't say enough about this game. Get it. And my number 1 game that everybody should own in their Super Nintendo collection is Super Castlevania 4. Yeah, there's still plastic on it because I did originally buy this game brand new. When I think Toys R Us was clearancing out the Super Nintendo games when N64 came, or yeah, Nintendo 64 was out. But yeah, Castlevania 4 by Konami. Well, that's 2 Konami games on here. But this game, oh my god. Yeah, probably the best, in my opinion, Castlevania game ever made, and let's look at why. Super Castlevania 4, in my opinion, is probably my all-time favorite Castlevania game. Puts the Super Nintendo to the test with all-around awesome music, awesome graphics. You can move the whip around in 8 different directions, unlike any other Castlevania game, actually. It's very challenging. When I was younger, I could never beat this, but when I got on Christmas morning, I put it in and couldn't stop playing it for hours on end. My all-time favorite here, gotta have it in any Super Nintendo collection, especially if you're a Castlevania fan. This one just takes the cake. It's very fun. The only way I've ever been able to beat it, though, unfortunately, is with the Game Genie, but I have gotten very far when I was younger. Just add it to your collection. You will not be disappointed. Have fun. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my little trip down memory lane with 6 games that I believe everybody should have in their collections, especially if you're a fan of the Castlevania series, shoot 'em ups, unique games like ActRaiser. If you like casino games, gotta have the Vegas Stakes, and if you're a fan of Star Wars, gotta have that Super Star Wars. I only showed that one. All 3 of them are good, but they just get more challenging and challenging. So if you can't handle the first one, you're done. Anyway, so that is my top 6 games that are must-own in any Super Nintendo collection. That's my personal opinion. You guys might have different opinions. I left out Zelda, Contra 3, and the Mario games, because the Mario games are just... Who needs to talk about those? Everybody knows about the Mario games. And plus, Contra 3 and Zelda, Link to the Past, I do not own. I still need to find copies of those. But alright, so... thank you all for watching Gaming Memories Episode 3. Top 6 must-haves in your Super Nintendo collection that you might not know about. Mystic Quest was the game that got me into role-playing. It is a beginner's role-playing game. It basically teaches you the ins and outs of role-playing games, but you can see the enemies on the screen, so if you have a chance to avoid them, you can, while you're walking around like the dungeons and stuff. But it's a very fun game, good storyline, good music in my opinion, and just all around a great way to start your role-playing days of your... No, that sounds like shit. Konami outdid themselves with this one. Great music, great graphics, big giant boss battles that fill up half the screen. They even had a little joke inside of it. If you pause the game and did the Konami code from all the good Nintendo games out there, it self-destructs your ship and you lose a life. They actually changed the code around a bit so you can get the 30 lives. I had so much fun with this game when I was a kid. I'm so happy to have it in my collection again. I lost my train of thought. This game is an awesome shoot 'em up for the Super Nintendo. It is Gradius 3, yes, and I already mentioned that like twice. What the This has got to be my all-time favorite Castlevania game ever made. Better, I mean, I love Sympathy of the Night, but I think this game was well made. It shows the potential of the Super Nintendo to its fullest, I think. Great all-around music, and man, do I say great a lot in all my stuff. Yeah, now because I said that, Castlevania 4, in my opinion, is probably the best Castlevania game in the series. I love Sympathy of the Night, but this game just rocks it all. Shows the potential of the Super Nintendo to its fullest, in my opinion. All around awesome, awesome music, awesome graphics. You can move your whip in 8 directions. Very challenging. I've never been able to beat this game. I've gotten very far in it, but to beat it, I had to use the Game Genie, unfortunately. But I've always loved this game ever since I was younger. When this game came out, I got it for Christmas. And wow, it just blew me away. Wow, 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 what can I say? Wow, wow, wowdy, wow, wow. God dang it! Super Castlevania 4, in my opinion, is my all-time favorite Castlevania game, and a staple for any Super Nintendo collection. You gotta own this game if you're a Castlevania fan and a Super Nintendo fan. This thing puts the Super Nintendo to the test. Also, all around awesome music, including renditions of original Castlevania music later on in later stages. Awesome, awesome graphics. You can move your whip in 8 different directions. Challenging gameplay, very fun, very well made game. Better than Sympathy of them. Yeah. Castlevania 4 is, in my opinion, the all-time best Castlevania game. Puts the Super Nintendo to fuck.